Members of Commerce, thank you for taking time to watch this video today that we prepared for you. My name is Tom Holdiman. I'm with Holdiman Motors in Cedar Falls, Iowa. We are a terminated Chrysler dealership. Our business was started by my father, Jim Holdiman, in 1962. In 1978, we purchased the dealership from my father. We have a $3.5 million facility that sits on 10 acres. We have 40 employees. 31 of these employees do have health care. We have an annual payroll of approximately $1 million. We have $92,000 that we pay annually in real estate taxes, and we've been a Chrysler dealer ourselves for over 31 years. We've met and exceeded almost every goal the factory has ever put on our dealership, sales and service. Last year we were told on conference calls by Chrysler officials to order cars. If we didn't order cars, we didn't want the company to make it. We ordered cars I didn't need. We were also told by Mr. Press he'd remember who ordered cars and who didn't. We were stunned when we were sent a termination notice. We were also stunned in the way the termination notice was sent. The internet, the news media knew before my family did. We were given 6 weeks to sell $5 million worth of new cars. In our state, once you're no longer a new car dealer, you can't sell a car. So we quickly sold these cars at a loss. Chrysler said they would assist in the redistribution of this inventory. No one ever called me. We were told that they would purchase our parts and assist in the redistribution of the parts. No one called me. We still have many of those parts. The same with special tools. The special tools the factory requires to buy, they said they would assist in the redistribution of them. I've never heard from them. Chrysler has a list of my customers, 12,000 of them. 12,000 of these customers that I earned. I worked for 60 to 65 hours a week along with 40 of my employees to build, to grow, and to take care of. Over the course of the last few months, Chrysler has sent a series of letters from Chrysler directing them to other dealerships in the area that are standing. They've said that Holdiman Motors is no longer a Chrysler dealer, a true statement, and that they needed to take their car to this other dealership. That's unethical, irresponsible, and has done nothing but generate tremendous confusion with my database of customers. I do indeed plan on staying here for a long, long time to come. Chrysler needs to stop these letters immediately. My employees are the reason people buy cars from us. It's the relationships we build with them and not necessarily those of the Chrysler product. These letters indicate that we are no longer a dealer, which simply isn't true. In the hearings, Mr. Press and Mr. Landry before Congress said that if we had any questions about why we were a terminated dealer, they would be happy to explain them. I have called over a dozen times. No one's returned my calls. I've sent letters. They've received the letters. No one's responded. It's obvious they don't want to talk to me. Upon further review of the list of terminated dealers, I discovered an interesting thing. Several of the smaller dealers in the area have brought their cars to me in the past for warranty work. This is warranty work that they didn't have the equipment to perform, the parts, or the expertise. We cheerfully performed this work for them so they could take the car back to their town, to their customer, and in my service department, we took care of them. The thing that's kind of confusing is those dealers are still standing, and I'm not. Chrysler still owes us money. They said they'd pay. We have yet to see all of it. We fund and volunteer in numerous charitable items in our community. My employees, last year, after an EF5 tornado ripped through a community 15 miles west of here, were on the ground the next day, assisting and helping people get their lives back together. 4 weeks later was the 500-year flood. My employees, again, were assisting people, helping people get their lives back together, donating their time, services, transportation needs, doing whatever we could. That's the type of employees we have. They're good people. They work hard. We sponsor numerous athletic events, provide things to the various schools in the area, and again, that's why we do what we do. We're automobile dealers. The stress on my staff has been incredible. They've done a marvelous job of trying to educate our customers that we are indeed here to try and take care of them. They've done a great job, and my family has as well. It's been very difficult. In closing, I'd like to say I really hope you consider the recommendations by the committee to restore the dealers' rights and the NADA. And I'd like to finish with a letter that you all received from Tammy Darvish, dated September 3rd, 2009. It sums it all up nicely. We live in the greatest country the world has ever known. What makes us so great, so wonderful, is our divinely inspired Constitution and unconditional love for the individual liberty. Car dealers are an ultimate example of capitalism and the American dream. All of us have shed a tear at our struggles that two iconic car makers have experienced this past year. More saddening was the unnecessary terminations of thousands of family-owned dealerships across America. This action jeopardizes the well-being of 170,000 employees suffering from this fallout. Dealers are the heart, the soul, and the fiber of our communities. The task force blew it when they wrongly assumed that dealers cost the factory money and that closing down their loyal business partners would help them in their own recovery. America has never shied away from doing what's right or just shrunk from the call to duty to risk life and limb to uphold our freedoms. The most basic freedom is property rights. Our founding fathers knew that blessing our people with individual liberties was not only a gift to our nation, but that men and women left to their own acts of commerce would know better than anyone else, including the government, what goods and services to offer our citizenry, and in the end produce the economic miracle that would be the envy of the world. They knew that without economic freedom, there'd be little room for political freedoms. The task force mistaken intrusion into the unilateral revocation of the dealer's property rights is astounding and uncalled for. Even more frightening is the closing of one dealership to then turn around and give his property rights to a competitor down the street. This is exactly what happened to me. While this may be fashionable in Cuba or Russia, Americans don't do this. We want GM and Chrysler to succeed. We really do. We've been their trusted business partners for decades. We want our manufacturing base to thrive and to grow. The terminated dealers want to be a part of this recovery and ultimately their success. Fortunately, Congress has not only the ability, but the duty to right this wrong before it's too late. By enacting H.R. 2743 and Senate Bill S. 1304, our leaders can grow and allow the dealers to do what they've already proven to do best, helping our economy grow. The American taxpayer has given GM a second chance and Chrysler a third chance. The dealers deserve their first chance back. And this was written by Tammy Darvish, September 9th. Thank you again for listening to me.